The question mark is going to be a new Emery Thompson batch freezer.
Was it a real small?
Small one for, not so much for home use, but for that size. Again, looking at the market, a lot of young people want to get into the frozen dessert business, and shared kitchens were a great idea. I was really in favor of them. Back when they first came out, they were $20 for the day. Now it's $90. And would you like, if you want to store your product in the freezer, there's an extra charge. You want electricity for that machine? Yeah, that's an extra charge. And it's become too expensive for people to do shared kitchens. So I'm coming up with a machine that's priced and sized where you can run it in your home and experiment and get your flavors going before you commit to signing a lease. I think it's also going to sell to a lot of wine bars are opening up, wine and cheese, but they're finding out that's not quite enough. And so they want to do wine sorbets, something like we're going to make right now. Jeff keeps telling me there's enough wealthy people out there who would like to have a real reliable, Rolls-Royce, Bentley grade machine to have ice cream in their own home.
Have you decided the size of it yet?
Oh yeah, it's all built. We're just fine-tuning it now.
You'll see it when you go out back.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great for the countertop in the big houses where Jeeves will make it for the kids that night.
I'm guessing what?
No Moet? We had a
Yeah, it's going to be $39.50. So not cheap.
That's the 3-quart, right?
This is the 3-quart, and this will be the 1.5. So we'll have 1.5, 3, 6, 12, 24, 44. We build more batch freezers than anyone in the world. And out of all these models, I think I worked it out, there's about 38 different variations that we build. Because we're air, water, different voltages. We're
IOC.
We're in 172 countries, 171.
How much is that one there? That's a 3-quart?
6,450, 6,450.
So
Was there a question back there? No? Okay.
For the 1.5 quart, it's going to be half the price? No.
It's going to be $39.50.
Okay.
What's
the biggest seller?
Right now, the CB350, followed by the 24 quart. But the CB350 is just under 10. It's $9,950. I haven't changed that price in 3 years, and I'm going to leave it. And then the 24 quart's around $25,000, $25,900. Those are the two biggest selling machines.
So is the 44 more like for commercial, like a Ben & Jerry's, or like a Ritz-Carlton, or something of that size, or are you seeing small mom-and-pop businesses with that?
We put the 44 into small dairies. We've put Haagen-Dazs in business, Ben & Jerry, Breyers, Bluebell, all of them. They all started with that model.
The 44.
Yeah, but the main thing I see is people who have a 24, and then they start adding 2, 3, 4 stores. Molly Moon's a good example out in Seattle. And rather than run a 24 quart 18 hours a day, they look at what they're producing and they say, yeah, we make 25, 30 flavors, but we're still selling 10 times more vanilla, coffee, chocolate, and salted caramel than we are any other flavor. So let's crank out 4 tubs in the time it takes to do 2, or a little bit more time to do 2 tubs, so we get the production done with. It's all about labor. I mean, your biggest expense going forward is always going to be labor. So this $15 an hour is going to be a disaster for many stores. And you see what the big guys are doing, like McDonald's and all, they're all going automated very, very quickly. So we'll see what happens with that, but that's a job killer to go up to a rate for an entry-level job, where you're supposed to move from that job up to something else. But we're not here to talk politics, though I can do that all day. And we'll run this one. Now, a lot of times when I come up with a new flavor, my first chance to experiment on it is in front of people. So if it comes out, if it freezes, I'm thrilled. If it tastes good, I'm really excited. But there's just as much chance that I'll just blow the thing up.
The lab rats.
Yes, you're the lab rats. And so we're going to make this formula. Where'd it go?
I had a lady at the ice cream convention. She was saying that, like, for her red velvet cake, that they would actually add cake mixes to their bakes. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, a lot of people do, and you have to be careful with adding cake mixes that there's no egg in there. Or how is the cake mix made? Some cake mixes say don't eat the raw dough. You know, like chocolate chip cookies, you shouldn't be eating that. Well, my wife Paula eats half the cookies before they're baked because it's delicious. Just be careful, take a look at what's in there. And if you have a question, those big companies all have 800 numbers. You know, like the turkey hotline at Thanksgiving. You know, call them up and say, can I use this raw dough? What if I was to sit down and eat this raw dough? Am I going to hurt myself? And get their answer.
Powder in the machine before you add the egg and everything else.
Well, Jeff, you do a lot of that when it's just where you're using
Who asked that question?
right over here.
Yes.
It wasn't me.
So,
But you did have a comment, right?
Jeff, we're going to need your blender.
Oh, I
Be
just put it
blended.
away.
Okay. Now, if on any of my machines, if I throw fresh or strawberries into the machine, it's going to grind them up like a Cuisinart. But I want to make sure that I really get a lot of surface area out of the strawberries. So I'm going to take 3/4 of my strawberries and put it into a blender. And then the last part, I'll leave them, just pour them into the
Don't
machine.
do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do what?
Put them all in.
Put them all.
Put them all in the blender. I'm
All
telling
right. All right, we'll follow Jeff. Change the recipe.
You ever bite into strawberry ice cream and try to chomp down on a strawberry?
Okay. I'm just not sure all this is going to. This was my math late at night. I'm not certain all this is going to fit into the machine.
Don't worry about it.
All right. We'll puree it up and then we'll see what happens.
Don't worry about it.
So we're going to use strawberries, champagne, water, sugar. Now you can use sparkling white wine, a cheap sparkling white wine instead of champagne. As Jeff pointed out, champagne's cheap the day after New Year's, so I got champagne. And Andre champagne, that's pretty cheap. But a sparkling white wine or any of those will do because think about it. You know, you don't need Cristal when you're putting it into a ton of sugar and water. You know, the luxury of the expensive champagne is going to be lost. And so just any old champagne or any old sparkling white. You can tell I haven't opened a champagne bottle in a while.
You know who's good at that?
Whom?
Right here. Front row center, Jesse.
Oh, there you go, Jesse.
Man knows how to open champagne bottles.
All right.
Is that true?
If he shakes it up first, we're
Jesse.
all running. Yes. Does that have wire or is it just a plastic top?
No, it's just a twist off.
Twist off. God, talk about cheap.
25 for these.
Going insane.
Oh, he's got it. All right. Thank you.
The right man for the right
Yes,
job.
Happy New Year.
Take a sip and see if it's good.
No, that's okay.
I just had a knife here and
It's
it's gone.
Get away with the time.
I'm losing. What, if you took it?
All right, champagne,
Trouble.
16 ounces of water.
I got your water right here.
That's 16 ounces?
That's what you need, right?
Okay, yeah. And 18 ounces of champagne. Well, let me start pouring things in. Make sure the gate's closed.
For something like this, where you're doing things other than water for your liquids, how do you determine how much? Not obviously you test it, but like the very first go around.
Well, this one I got from a recipe online, and it was for 1.5 quarts. So this is where I'm a little nervous about my math. I took the 1.5 and doubled it, but their range was 1.5 to 2. So I took 1.5 for their formula, doubled it, and then cut it back by 20%. And I'm hoping that works. But we'll find out. Now, if you are playing with recipes like this, all you really have to do is make sure you write it down on a 3x5 file card. You see Jeff is using a file card. And make sure you do that so that otherwise you make 3 or 4 batches and all of a sudden you hit it perfect and you go, now what did I do with that one? You know, you'll forget. So write it down each time.
Sugar. Hand me that sugar, please.
Yeah. And the lemon.
Thank you.
Here's the lemon. Thank you.
Steve, for those of us that haven't bought a machine yet, what's your turnaround? Like if you were to place an order today, is it 3 months, 4 months?
No, it's for the smaller machines, it's 10 days or less. And on the larger machines right now, it's 3 weeks. As we get into the spring, it'll go to 4 weeks.
3 weeks until it starts getting made, or until
No,
it's
until it's ready to ship.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we've ever gone beyond 4 weeks.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, this is too much. This is way too much. Yeah.
That's 10.
I thought
So
so.
I'm gonna just get rid of the hopper portion back in.
Yeah, because I still haven't even put the sugar in. So, my math could be way off, but it's fun to try.
I don't think it's ready.
So you're draining it all and then put more in it?
I'm going to add the sugar.
Okay.
Okay, throw her in. And we'll just stir that up a little bit. Thank you. Everything's so quiet. You're full from lunch?
No, they're watching Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah, it really is, believe me.
No good here? You're afraid to add this more because of the quantity?
Let me see what it looks like here.
Okay.
It could be that just the strawberries were hanging up in there. I've got a little over 2 quarts. I just got too much in here. So I'm going to take a little bit out because I want to put 2 quarts in and end up with 3. That should do it.
Is that a typical output, 1.5 times what you put in?
Yes, yeah, for the overrun.
Or Italian ice?
No, for this size machine.
Okay.
And this, with the CB200 or the upcoming CB100, those don't have the overrun control.
No, it's going to be set for very low to do a dense ice cream, gelatos, and sorbets, because the place where it's going into, it's going to be small servings. It's not going to be, you're not going to run a business on this machine, on the little one. Okay. And we're off and running. We'll see what happens. I should have tasted, well, I should have had you taste it or them taste it.
Well, this is what you have in there? Strawberries, champagne, water, sugar, and lemon zest, right?
Yeah, that's it. Should work out.
Yeah.
Now we build
No dairy mix.
Huh?
No dairy mix.
No who?
You got to have some dairy mix.
No.
Huh?
It's a sorbet.
Yeah.
No dairy.
Okay. I would.
It's an Italian ice.
All right.
All right, we'll try it. We build this 2 ways. We build it 115 volt, which is 110, so you can just plug it into your kitchen, or mine here is 220 volts. They're both American-made Copeland compressors, so it really doesn't matter which way you go. But the nice thing about the 115 or 110 volt is if you're feeling strong, you can pick it up, 2 people, and put it in your car and take it somewhere. It's fun to take to a party. And I think it's about 190 pounds.
So this says 190, and that's not,
This is about 280. This is 800, 800, and 1200. Yeah, you're not going to move your new machine. It gets put in place, and that's it. It's like my safe. My safe was my father's. We brought it down from New York, and we built this building around it. They poured the concrete slab and put the safe down, and it was facing this way. And so I come into my finished building, you know, it looks a little bland. Couldn't you put it on an angle like this? Well, it took my guys 4 days to move it on a 10-inch angle because it weighs so much. It's got big wheels on it, which are a joke. That in the safe has never been moved in its life. But it's a fun piece to have. Huh? When I got Sammy, I built a wood barrier around it because my great fear would get bigger, because she liked to crawl under it as a pup, and she'd get bigger, and the next thing I know, I'd be calling Tampa to bring in a crane to cut a hole in the ceiling to lift the safe to get her out. So that'll get through a regular size door, yes. Yeah. A lot of people. No, your new 40 is gonna come delivered to the street and lifted down to the street, and then you're responsible from there. So you're gonna need either about 6 people or a rigger, depending on where it's going. It's a big job.
The good news is it's not going upstairs.
Yeah. When I was younger, I used to deliver these to Greek diners, and they always all went downstairs. And I was working block and tackles, bringing them down. What a nightmare. I still have nightmares about it.
How can your 12 and your 24 be the same size and the same weight?
Because the only thing that's different is the barrel. I mean, it's maybe 50 pounds difference, but the barrel on one of them is this deep, and the barrel on the other one's this deep. But it's an interesting question. It's only $2,000 difference. In manufacturing, I have to build for all these different voltages around the world. So when we were back in the Bronx, the 12 quart had a 1.5 horsepower, a 2 horsepower compressor, and the bigger one had the 3. And the motors were 1.5 and 3. So that meant I had this huge inventory coming down here of having to build about 10 different variations of each with different motors and everything else. I said, why don't I just take the bigger motors of the larger machine and put them in the smaller machine? I lose some money in selling it because I'm putting more expensive motors and compressors into a smaller machine, but I save on inventory cost because I've got half the inventory. So it worked out well. So it's only a $2,000 difference. And people don't buy it very often, but some do because they just do not want 2 tubs. I've only had one business get mad at me for owning an Emery Thompson. I think in 42 years, that's pretty good. And that was the Phoenician Hotel in Arizona, because they bought a 44 quart, and the chef was furious. What am I going to do with 4 tubs of product every time I run it? He didn't realize how big it was. But that's why I talk to my customers and work you into it. And money's tight. Banks don't loan money. So I work your way. I try to get you the best machine for your money that will grow with you. Yeah, a question back here?
Barrel size changed over the decades?
On the 20s and 40s, the barrel size has not changed. The dashers have changed, and the way we build them has changed. My father used to silver solder them together because that was the only technology he had. And silver solder will break. So the machine average life is 45 years. There's one on eBay right now that's 71 years old. That's not uncommon. University of Maryland had a 78-year-old machine that we sold parts to. But my machines are heliarc welded, so they're better built today than they were then. Not because I'm some great engineer, but because welding techniques and other methods, better compressors, better motors, have all come along since he was building them in the 50s and 60s. Let's see. There we go.
What's the actual size of the 24
What's the what?
The actual size of the barrel.
It's 19 and 3/4 inches deep and I think 9.5 wide. The 24 quart machine will actually hold about 30 quarts. Yeah.
So if you could dump 24 quarts of Italian ice in there and have to worry about going to flood.
That's right, but I would dump in 22 because water expands. Pretty nice looking.
That's air cooled, that machine.
I need a spatula.
What do you need?
A spatula? Thank you. Thank you very much. See, that looks very good right now. Jeff would probably pull it like that. I tend to go a little stiffer. Okay, here we go. What you want in any food industry is consistency. And so what I've got here is a machine that draws off so fast, whatever came out at the beginning is going to be just like what came out at the end. If you've got one of these Italian machines with the bars and all blocking it, you know, they say, oh, it's wonderful, you can use it for decorating. Well, they're taking their worst problem and trying to make it a good thing by saying, oh, you can decorate. I know darn well it's like if you put a steak in the oven and you want it medium rare, when it's medium rare, if you just take one slice out that's medium rare and then another and then another and then another, by the time you get it out of the oven, that thing is charred, it's burned. So look how fast that emptied out its whole product. And there we go. That looks nice. I don't know what it tastes like, so come on up and tell me what it's like. Can you try this and tell me what?
I did. It's good.
It was?
It's yeah.
That's good.
What a shock. Okay. I'm building a cookbook to go with the little machine.
It's not that good.
No, to go with the little machine. Well, of course it can't be perfect because it's from
Put
me.
my book in with the machine.
You're going to give me a discount?
Of course.
Okay. We'll
And
talk.
I'll even adjust the quantities.
We'll talk.
I always thought my book should be in with your machines. Give people a good jump start on it. And have them making great ice cream from the go, from the first batch.
I notice on that machine it doesn't have the different like gelato.
No,
ice.
it's set for a low speed.
So what can you make and what can you not make on that one?
You can't make high overrun ice cream on it, and you can't make frozen custard.
But Italian ice, it's okay.
Absolutely. Because Italian ice is only going to expand as much as water expands.
Right.
If you've got a boat up in Lake
Oh,
Michigan,
come on, give me a little more.
if you've got a boat in Lake Michigan and you leave it out in the water, and the lake freezes,
He
the
wants
boat's going
a
to
lot.
get crushed.
Right.
That's the expansion of water. And so if you take this formula and just put it in ice cube trays and put it in the freezer, it's going to expand 17%.
Okay.
But that's about all it's going to do.
So
The agitation-
That's why you don't put 3 quarts into a 3-quart machine.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
What about ice cream? How much does that expand?
It depends on the
Depends on
infinite
the ice cream.
overrun. It can go anywhere from the maximum would be double for every gallon you put
I
in.
need a lot of that.
Give her a lot. She said she can eat a lot
For
of
every
it.
gallon you put in, you're going to get 2 gallons of ice cream back. Or if you're doing a low overrun, it might be for every gallon you put in, you get a gallon and a quarter back.
And what's more common, would you say?
The higher air content.
Okay.
Because
So more than
people
double.
can, you've got to make money.
Okay.
I mean, I had a guy years ago who was selling $100 sorbet to United Airlines, and they said, this is the best stuff in the world, but we can't order a second time because there's not enough money, even in first class, to sell this stuff or to give it away. So,
Great.
is it good?
I like it a lot.
Wow. Thank you. I'm shocked.
For more subtle flavors, this is nice.
Okay, I'll give it to my staff. Take over.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the difference is we had